Alright guys, welcome back. We are watching Made in Abyss, Season 1, Episode 2. Last time we had the incredibly, ridiculously good first episode, which we talked about that to quite an extent last time. I don't know, I'm really excited. I remember that all of these first few episodes were like really, really good. I don't remember what happens in the next few episodes exactly, but you know what? That's fine. That is fine. That's why we're watching it again, right? So, I don't know. I guess we're watching episode 2 of Made in Abyss, season 1. You can line you and copy up with this if you want to. We are starting in 3, 2, 1. Of course. But how do you know which side is the needle? you know? Like, isn't that just kind of like either side could be the needle? And also, it just points down. Like, how do you know it's even a compass? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it could just not be a compass at all. But I guess she has all this lore she made up, so of course, he's linked to it. Right, right. Oh, the opening is a little bit loud. I'm gonna turn it down. Um, okay, like how would she? How would it? One, how would she know it's a compass? Right? Because it's just pointing down. Like it doesn't like she can't move it. Right? Um, I don't know. How would she know that it's not pointing up and it's actually pointing down? You know? I don't know. I don't know. I'm all for it though. I'm all for her excitement. I get it. I get it. Why is Cubey in the opening? Anyone want to tell me what's up with that? I don't know. Not too much of a fan of that. I remember this opening vaguely. Hmm. Ooh, her mom. Right, right, right. Ah, that art's so beautiful. They have shots like that. I don't remember. Is it the end of episodes or the start of them? Or is it right after the opening? I think it is. I remember those changing a few times. This anime has a very unique art style, doesn't it? Yeah, there it is. I wonder who the artist for that is. Resurrection Festival. Mm-hmm. What's it called again? Yeah, it's like a. I mean, I want to call it supernatural. It doesn't specifically have to be supernatural, though. It can be a natural phenomenon. Just this world is different, right? It would be supernatural for us, probably, if this was a thing. But it could be fully explained by the laws of physics in this universe, right? They certainly don't have an explanation for it, though, huh? Curse of the Abyss, yeah. Maybe. That is quite the jump in logic. That is really, man, you are assuming like three things there. Compilation of recorded relics. Oh, the bell that stops time. Why do these things even exist? Okay, calm down. Well, we're really assuming he's a relic, right? How do we know that he fits in the relic category, you know? I don't know. Mm-hmm. 40 meters. Where, like, is his entire body just hollow? It's just all tied up in there? Okay, what? Okay, thank you. Did you try? Oh no. Thank you. Thank you. Thank God he got the stick out. Ignoring that last half. Hmm. Or is he just a new category of thing altogether? I don't know. Abad. Well, just don't let him find him. Come on. Really? They would do that? Come on. They would destroy him when he's this special? Oh, they been on break or something? Oh, they're bringing the dog back up, huh? There's Reg's her new dog, right? Have leader and Reg meet strategy. Do you even have to add the word strategy at the end of that? Hmm. I can't help but get the feeling that he just doesn't. He's not buying it, right? We've kind of had that as a theme, right? The kids thinking that they're tricking all the adults when they obviously just like aren't. I don't know. I guess Rico's been successful at hiding Rick away before this, but like, does that kind of technology exist in the world? Okay. Especially like he's named after Rico's dog. Are you telling me that he didn't know Rico had a dog before? I don't know. I don't know. Uh-huh. When he shot off that laser, I'm guessing. Yeah, like I don't know. I feel like he knows something's up. I mean, they're also all watching from right there, and he would just be able to see them. So, sure, it went well. I guess like they don't have any reason to reject him, even if Leader does know something's up. Interesting, we're getting like narration from him. Rico, wake up. Because like if something like him is like unknown to the world before this, there's no reason to think they would reject him for no reason. He just seems like some weird kid to Leader. Rico, come on. Okay, awesome, good. Why not? Are you really okay? Rico bombs, nice. Oh, some good music, a great shot. Bunch of Hammerbeak chicks. We heard about them last episode. Oh, okay. Oh man, it's like I don't know. It's like a bird, but it's like draconic looking with its long neck. I wouldn't get bored of it either. It looks awesome. Uncle Habbo. She knows all about it. She's read about it enough. I'm sure she's basically has. Hmm. An interesting question. Ooh, we're gonna go back to that line, actually. Hmm. So what does it mean to be a white whistle? Chase your desires like that, I suppose. Yeah, that. Okay. They just didn't notice. They were okay. They didn't hear that ridiculously loud noise of him doing that. Sure. God, the world looks so amazing. Like you see the background in that shot. This cannot be safe. Like, what am I looking at? Everyone wants to be one. Hmm. Hmm. It's very interesting that the different whistles have a depth limit like that. Like what's the controlling body that enforces that? you know? I guess the idea is you would just die if you get on too far and you're not prepared, right? So, oh, it's so beautiful. Man. Hmm. It's like having lost his memory, this is all he knows now? True, maybe. I don't know. You might. Although I guess unless you're the metallic parts of you also grow. That would be rough. Ooh. Oh man. I'm just crazy about the backgrounds and all these shots. It looks so good. Hmm. They're back. So he's a black whistle. Oh, white whistle's the highest. Is black whistle the second highest? I don't remember if they've. I don't remember. Yeah. It's your mom's. Annihilator is a very ominous name. Oh. Her reaction to it is so muted and so. I don't know. It's interesting, right? Because I guess from her point of view, her mom has been gone for so long. I mean, she's been living in the orphanage that I guess it's not the kind of thing you would cry over exactly, right? Oh, here we go. They give us the order, right? I don't know. I guess it just depends, like what her real thoughts of it are. There she is. The culture around it is very interesting. The like viewing them as like these heroic sacrifices. Hmm. A celebration, right? About her assumed death. Hmm. Kind of talk about foreign cave raiders, how that possibly works. Man, that is a terrifying silhouette. Hmm. Like, how fast did they put this all together? Hmm. I like the hat, Rika. Nice one. Hmm. Oh, because it's like she really doesn't know her mom that well. That's the crazy thing. Is she's gonna feel like she doesn't deserve it because, like, it's not like she's actually ever had a connection to her mom, right? Hmm. Wonder if that's why she's sitting over here, just like thinking. Because I guess it would be a weird feeling to know that your mom is apparently dead, very much seemingly dead, and maybe her emotions aren't what she would expect. But I understand it, I guess. Hmm. Hmm. Don't drop it. Yeah, the Resurrection Festival. Bringing her back to life, basically, I guess. Just having such a big impact on the on Orth, despite being gone. Ooh. Yeah, she doesn't know. Ah, can't even remember her face. I mean, I can't help but feel like I would almost feel some level of I don't know. I wouldn't be happy exactly about the fact that my mom disappeared and I'm stuck in an orphanage, you know? But I mean, it's possible that she didn't plan on dying, right? She might not planned on it being her last dive, you know. But you have to think if she continues doing such a dangerous thing, despite having a daughter, I don't know. Wasn't perfect. Okay, well, most people do. Come on, that's okay. Hmm. Really just makes it clear how important this whole abyss exploration thing is to this society, you know? It's all that was special about her, apparently, was being a white whistle, you know? But I guess, you know, that sounds kind of mean, but hmm. The music. And I guess the way that's phrased, that she had to, you know. It's I guess it's like being a whistle and being like this. Yeah, what do I say? It's like being a member of the military almost, I guess. I guess she just doesn't have a choice. It's just crazy to me that they wouldn't make an exception for a pregnant woman, you know? Man. And like I guess I say she didn't have a choice, but hmm. I just don't know. I don't know how to feel about it, honestly. Born down in the abyss. Made in abyss. I wonder how far down exactly she was born. I mean, did it happen at the furthest point they were at during the mission? I don't know. Yeah, no special powers for you, Rico, other than your enthusiasm. Yeah, fourth layer. You weren't. You died. Hmm. See, it's that's so interesting that she was forced to come down here for the unheard bell, despite being pregnant. But then she's able to abandon the unheard bell and come back up with her daughter anyway. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's hmm. Because I feel like if the state in this case is so callous as to send a pregnant woman down, um, for the sake of this mission, they would be okay with her sacrificing the mission for her daughter. Oh, the music, man. Oh, you hear that? Like just. Hmm. Oh, that is a lot of pressure, isn't it? Man, a lot of responsibility, huh? Your hat. Oh, okay. Guess you don't need it. Man, her attitude towards it is so interesting because I could Oh, wow. I could imagine so easily her having, like, not taking it well, you know? I don't know if I would all of this that my mother did and left me with, like, the responsibility, leaving me in the first place, you know? No, I don't think she is. I think this is actually I think her enthusiasm is unwavering. Yeah, impossible. Hmm. Yeah, I think it just excites her. I really think it does. And again, that kind of makes sense because she didn't know her mother, really, right? Which is sad, really sad to say, but if she just views her mother as this far off figure that she is, you know. Hmm. Not gonna put on shoes? Come on. East District Caveredo Guild HQ. Looks crazy. Oh, it's like a church, almost. I don't know. What that guy's wearing. That's what it looks like to me. Like the bells and stuff. Hmm. Looks so, like, frayed. How long has it been sealed, you know? Mm-hmm. Ooh. Oh, Reg. Okay. Yeah. Some parts are different. Is it? Is it different, or is it just him? I don't know. I guess it could not be him, and there's more of him, right? Of, like, people like him, not, like, more of him. You know what I mean? Okay. Now, obviously, that kind of supports Rico's wild theory of him coming from the bottom. Hmm? I don't remember what this says. I'll be waiting. Okay. At the bottom of the netherworld, I'll be waiting. Hmm. Well, that's terrifying in a way. how how did this get up here though? You know what I mean? Like, how did the letter get up here? Um, with the whistle, you know? Like, where did they find it? Where did they find it? Right? How did the letter get up here? Like, if Liza wrote this letter saying, okay, I'll be at the bottom of the netherworld waiting for you, I'm going to send this up to my daughter and convince my 12-year-old daughter now to come down here. Well, no, it's not even. We don't even know that it's addressed to Rico specifically. There's no reason to think it's even to Rico specifically, right? The fact that it doesn't say who she's waiting for is interesting. Like, God, I don't know. Like, here's what I'm thinking, right? If she wrote the letter before she got to the bottom of the abyss, that's really, that's like, she might have just died on the way down, you know? Um, but obviously they couldn't have found the letter very deep in the abyss because you start dying. You can't get back up, right? So, unless there's some way around it. I mean, I don't know. There's the curse repelling vessel, I guess. But from the way they explained it at the start of the episode, it seems like you just die. So, hmm. It was a good episode. That is for sure. Departure. Next episode. All right. Very good. We will talk about it in the discussion. Alrighty, let's talk about the episode. It was a good episode. I don't know. Episode 1 is very special, so it's hard for me to say really that I think this episode's better, but this is a really good episode still. I don't know. I just the first episode is obviously, like, really important for any anime, for any show at all, you know? So, and the first episode does such a good job at being a first episode, but, you know, this episode is certainly very good either way. So we start off here with Rico talking about this lore she made up with this compass, right? Like, I just want to make sure we all understand here, right? She has what she's calling a compass. Really, it is a ball with a thing inside of it, right? And that thing doesn't move. right? It's oriented like this, and this is the only way it's ever oriented, or at least the only way she's ever seen it to be oriented, because it points down, it points down, it points down, and it points up. You can't even tell which way it's pointing. It might not even be pointing anywhere. It's just, this is just how it looks, right? Like, unless, okay, I guess maybe I'm being mean here, right? Like, I guess maybe the the implication here is that, like, you rotate the ball. Like here, like, let's say this thing on the inside is, like, disconnected somehow from the inside, from the actual outer ball, you know? And when you, like, rotate it, the thing on the inside stays pointing down. That still doesn't mean anything about it pointing to the depths of the planet. You know what I mean? Like, it points up and down. It's just a thing inside. Like, I think we can, like, make those. I don't even think, like, okay, whatever. I don't want to make fun of Rico too much. And, like, obviously, God, that friend looks stupid. She has this crazy lore that she wants to talk about. You know, she dramatically revealed the truth of the cosmic compass, and from the depths of the abyss, the mysterious reg appeared. You know, it's the beginning of her grand journey, right? And obviously, like, part of the reason why she has this attitude towards the abyss and everything, I mean, probably pretty much the whole reason why, is because the society that we're in, like, glorifies the abyss so much and has, you know, it's an abyss-centric society, right? Like, which is it's very interesting, you know? I don't really know what to say or think about it yet, because we know that the abyss is very dangerous. People die. Rico's mother is assumedly dead in the abyss right now. And the fact that this society that we're in glorifies it to the point that little kids like Rico are this excited to go into the abyss. And, you know, obviously Rico is probably more extreme than most people. She's very enthusiastic about it and incredibly excited to go into the abyss, right? But the fact that that's, like, such a socially normal thing, like Kiwi, right? He really wants to, you know, he wishes he wasn't a bell so he could get a whistle and go down, you know? I don't know. I don't really know what to think about it. It's very interesting. It depends on, like, what the state that was mentioned in this episode, what the government, or it almost seems like a military state, in a sense, what they get from it. Like, why, you know, I guess it's the relics, right? It's the powerful relics that they get. You can really take it at a dark angle, though. You know what I mean? The idea that it's like this society that has been pressured so much to value the abyss and everything in it, so much to the point that even little kids want to go down into the abyss immediately, even though it's like certain death to go down too far, right? You're going to die. And if the government or the state in this case are somehow, like, profiting off of that, that's a kind of a dystopic world, isn't it? Kind of a dystopia. Like, it's so hard to even say that, though, because, of course, Rico's enthusiasm for all of it is so infectious and so good that it is so hard to be a downer about any of it. So, I don't know. And it's interesting, like, I wonder what's really being said about that, right? About how, like, Rico finds so much value in it, in the idea of going into the abyss. And of course, the value that she sees in going into the abyss and why she's so enthusiastic about it is obviously completely separate from, you know, whatever ulterior motives people high up in this society might have had for structuring the society in this way, right? Like, obviously people are in some way getting hurt by the way that this society exists, right? Like Eliza having to go down to look for the unheard bell. Like, it specifically said that she had to. So it's almost like she's a member of the military, right? Like, she's forced to go down there. Obviously, there have to be some people that benefit from the way the society exists, and people going down to the abyss and getting the relics. And there's people like Eliza, who, even though she's a white whistle, is being forced to go down there when she's pregnant and get this unheard bell, you know? So, I don't know. It's interesting to think about, I guess. Rico herself, her enthusiasm for everything is so separate from all of that it's like, you know, she finds so much meaning in it beyond any, you know, she doesn't care how dangerous it is, right? She doesn't care about anything I just said. Rico, like, if you told any of that to Rico, she'd be like, I don't care. I gotta go into the abyss. Which is interesting, right? Because the abyss for us, the viewer, too. Like, right, like, we really want them to go down into the abyss, too, because we really want to see what's down there, you know? It's just like Rico, right? It's just, we're piling on more and more and more things that, like, as a viewer, we have this incredible level of intrigue and excitement to see what is in the abyss. Like, even the way it's structured is set up so much that, like, you just really want to know what's down there. And that's like true for the characters in the story too. I mean, obviously, probably even more so for Rico, right? Because she actually can go into the abyss herself. We can't, you know. And I wonder just like what's being said with that exactly, you know, because like the abyss is almost just representative of just I don't know desire in general. It's almost just like a a perfect embodiment of the idea of desire, like the feeling that you get as a viewer watching it, and the feeling that so many characters have in the story, right? So I don't know. I guess we'll just see. It's too early, really, for me to say anything about what I think like the message is or anything that's being said. Um, Immediately, I feel like Riko's attitude about it and her enthusiasm to go into the abyss is obviously a standout thing. That's very interesting, right? Because there are people around her who are trying to protect her, right? Like, Leader obviously doesn't want her to just go into the abyss and die, right? Like, he's been preventing her from just getting what she wants and going down as quick as she can, because she would die, right? So, her enthusiasm has been, like, you know, tapered off a little bit by people around her who care about her. Um, but I don't know. It's very interesting, I guess. It's very interesting. We will talk about it more as more stuff like that is brought up, I suppose. And we talk about the Curse of the Abyss here, which I kind of vaguely remembered. But yeah, it's interesting. Like, I wonder if in this universe, if this is like a supernatural force of some kind, if this is like a, you know, bizarre, crazy, like you know what I mean? Or if this is just if this is a natural phenomena in this universe that can be explained through, you know, the scientific method and stuff, right? I don't know. I kind of go more towards the latter. I feel like that's kind of the universe we're setting up here, but I don't know. I wonder what the explanation for it would be, you know? Hmm. And yeah, I guess it's the sixth layer and beyond, where, I don't know, the loss of humanity or death. What is the difference there? Like, what is the loss of humanity, right? Like, or all of the monsters we see, people who have lost their humanity? I feel like there's too many. That's probably a stretch, right? I feel like there's so many monsters and there's so few people who go down that far into the abyss that would there really be all those monsters, you know? I don't know, but what does it mean to lose your humanity exactly? Or death, right? And to me, I guess the idea of loss of humanity sounds like death. but and hmm, I don't know. In fact, it turns into like this mossy thing. It's very interesting. Hmm. How is all this related to the praying skeletons that we saw in the first episode? So our boy Shiggy explained all that to us. Rico makes some extreme, crazy jumps in logic here to exclaim that Reg has to be from the bottom of the abyss, right? She's saying here that surely this means robots are unaffected by the curse. She made that up. No reason to think that or expect that, right? Like, it could be true. We just don't know. Maybe he's not. We don't even know if he's a robot, exactly. um, and then she says, like, so robots are unaffected by the curse, which she doesn't know, and she says somehow that means Reg must have come from the bottom of the abyss. How do those two things connect? We are really stretching it here. That is for sure. Of course, she's lucky. She got lucky because we see pictures of Reg or people who look just like Reg in Liza's letter at the end of the episode. So that kind of makes you think that yes, she's right, that Reg or Reg's people do come from like low down in the abyss, right? But she is very, I don't know, she really is jumping the gun on that one. And this is very interesting, right? What did Reg come up here to do? He's lost his memories, you know? And that is kind of a scary thing, because Reg is kind of like a weapon, right? Like, he has all these relics making up his body. He has a giant laser on him. He has a grappling hook arm, all this crazy shit. Um, it seems like he's like invincible, right? He can't be cut, he can't be hurt by fire, he can't, you know. So it's almost like he's like a weapon of war, you know? And that's kind of scary, you know, that we're bringing up like what did he come up here to do? I hope he wasn't sent up here to do something terrible. Um, oh God, I don't know. I don't know. Just that line, the fact that we're bringing that up just makes me think, like, what would he be sent to Europe to do then? And with what he is, kind of scary. Maybe it's a good thing that he lost his memory, huh? Compilation of recorded relics, the bell that stops time. How does that possibly work? I don't know. The unheard bell, the bell that stops time. I guess no one could hear it if it rings and it stops time. So sure, it makes sense to me. I don't know, we're really assuming Reg is a relic, right? He's not found in the relic thingy mabobber, compilation of recorded relics. Um, so, like, I guess it depends on what a relic exactly is, right? They didn't really give us a full explanation of the lore behind relics and, like, where they originated from or anything. I mean, I guess the people in the universe themselves probably don't even know either, right? But we're really just kind of assuming Reg is a relic, which, unless relic is kind of a generic term for anything that we don't know what it is, but it's probably related to the Abyss, then, I don't know, is he a relic? He's a person. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Shiggy says he's an Abad. Abade? I don't know how to pronounce it exactly. Um, but I guess, if you say so, Shiggy, I'll take your word for it. And apparently he'd be dismantled. Like, yet again, we're bringing up this idea of there kind of being a shady upper crust of society that is kind of scary in a way, right? Hmm. But we come up with a plan. Have leader and Reg meet strategy. A very verbose title for the strategy. And again, I'm wondering here, like, leader has to know what's up, right? Like, they're all literally looking at him from right there. Reg is weird. He looks weird. He has robot stuff on him. Like, leader has to know some weird shit is up here. But at the same time, since Reg is so unlike any relics or whatever, like, it's not like they would expect, oh, you're a relic, I'm gonna go throw you in the dungeon. So I guess leader wouldn't really have any reason to reject Reg, even if he doesn't buy his story exactly. Because he asks him here, do you have anything to do with the incident down in the edge the other day? So, hmm. And that just makes me think he obviously knows something's up with Reg, but I guess he just has no reason to throw him out on the street. Rico is less than the model student, unfortunately. What are we even doing here? We're just cleaning, I guess? Okay. I don't know what's happening in that scene. Rico really needs to learn how to sleep in a bed, apparently. That can't be comfortable. Literally cannot be comfortable. We make some Rico bombs, preparation in progress. I feel like it's a very inefficient, like, you should at least put, like, a bunch of on, like, the bottom so you can, like, hold it without touching a bunch of rice. I don't know. Whatever. Oh, beautiful shot. Beautiful shot. We see some Hammerbeaks. This giant dragon bird thing comes and kills him. It looks cool as hell. Oh, God, it's so big. Look at it. Crazy tail. Man, yeah, it's so, like, draconic in a way. I guess the idea of having feathers is interesting. Like, it's like the idea that dragons had feathers. Not dragons, that dinosaurs had feathers. I guess dragons having feathers then wouldn't be that crazy, because dragons are obviously kind of like fictional dinosaurs. It's crazy, though. I don't know, like, evolutionarily, why it would have this long-ass tendril attached to it. What is that for? Is it like whiskers on a cat or something? I don't know. I don't know. I wonder, like, in this world that we're in, they found the Abyss 1900 years ago, right? Did these weird creatures exist out elsewhere in the world before this, or is the world just like our world? And then they just found the Abyss, there's all this crazy shit in it. I don't know. I don't know. Hmm. And what is her name again? I gotta read her name again. I want to address her properly. Say her name right away. Come on, where is it? What's her name? Didn't you say it? No? I swear she said her name. I'm missing it. Sorry. Whatever. Whatever her name is, she says this interesting stuff about how it might not be that great to be a white whistle, right? Um, and yet again, it's kind of just like another thing that's kind of been vaguely brought up that has been so overshadowed by Rico's enthusiasm and our enthusiasm as a viewer to go see The Abyss, right? Like, the idea that maybe you shouldn't go down into the abyss is probably not something that is that widely thought in this society, right? It's probably kind of weird that she even has this attitude about it, you know? Obviously, like, Leader wants to protect Rico, but he's still, you know, she still is in the orphanage where they use child labor to go down into the abyss all the time. So it's not like she's fully protected from it or anything, right? We saw how dangerous it can be in episode 1. Um, so I don't know, the idea that she brings up about how it might not be that great to be a white whistle, it might not be that great to, I guess, what could we say being a white whistle is, right? Like, fulfilling your desire in this case. Obviously, the reason she would think this is because fulfilling your desire is dangerous, right? Like with the abyss, you know, it's dedicating your whole life to something, right? I guess that's kind of maybe that's kind of what we're getting at here, you know? The abyss and having such a desire to go down into it is something that you truly are going to dedicate your life to, right? Just like Liza, you know, you're going to go down and you're not going to come back up eventually, right? That's just going to be how it works. So, I guess the idea of not wanting to chase that specifically is, I don't know, it's an interesting thing. I guess I just don't know what the author's really saying with it yet, you know? I can obviously sympathize with her not wanting her husband, I assume, to become a white whistle because of what happens to white whistles, right? Like Liza, you know, they have a last dive. So they have a term for it, right? Because it happens to them. So I don't know. It's interesting to think about, right? Whether or not the desire of going into the abyss is worth it. Whether or not the sacrifice is worth it, you know? And I guess, like, on Liza's part, with her essentially giving up her daughter, giving up having a relationship with her daughter, as far as we know at this point, right? Like, I mean, I don't remember if that's something I saw when I saw these first few episodes before. As far as we know, she just went down for, you know, to chase her desire as being a white whistle, right? And gave up having a relationship with her daughter in the process. That is kind of a, you know, is that something that would be worth it? Not in my mind, you know? Not in my mind. But I guess, I don't know. I guess it just depends, right? I guess it just depends. No, I don't know if it does depend. I feel like in my mind, I feel like I have to take a hard stance on this because I feel very strongly about this, honestly. If there isn't some kind of ulterior reason for Liza to go down into the abyss the way she did, and she just went down because she's like, oh, I really want to go into the abyss, right? Just like Rico does, right? Rico really wants to go into the abyss too. It's a common might run in the family for all we know. Um, then if she didn't have some other reason, like she was forced to, or there was something she had to do, then I really do not think it was a good thing for her to do, to just leave Rico up here, leave her to never know her mother, you know? Obviously, there could be a million things that went into her decision to do this, you know, so it's too early for me to say, right? So, but those would fall into the ulterior reasoning category, right? Like, something about her mental state, something about, I mean, it could literally be anything, right? But I feel like I very much sympathize with Rico's aunt in this situation. Assuming that even actually is Rico's aunt. I mean, I don't know. She's calling her that, but who knows what if they actually have a relation, you know? She lives in the orphanage, Rico does, so. Man, this is the most dangerous thing I've ever seen in my life. What do we, this can't, like, at least stand as far this way as you can. I don't know if they're even supposed to walk on that, if it's even part of the path, or if they're just being stupid. And Shiggy says that longing to be a white whistle isn't the same as wanting to be one. Which, I don't know, that's a very interesting thing. Like, I don't know, the idea of a longing, you know? I guess it's kind of like, well, I don't know. I don't know. It's hard for me to say what I think the difference between those things are, you know? Like, I guess you could say a longing. The idea of longing to be a white whistle, longing to go into the abyss, like Rico does, like we do as a viewer, is, to me, it feels like kind of a more, not like a disconnected feeling, but a feeling in which, like, you are maybe you have a more idealized view of the abyss and what it means to be a white whistle, you know? And like wanting to be a white, but like a longing. I can imagine a longing as being like, oh, look at how society treats white whistles, and look at how respected they are by everyone, and blah 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 blah. I wish I could be like that. I wish I could have like the upsides of being a white whistle. I have a longing towards that type of thing. And then actually wanting to be one is like, to me, I guess the subtext here between like the differences in those words, I guess, would be like understanding what it actually means to be a white whistle and wanting it anyway. I don't know. I feel like Rico is more in the longing category right now. She has this childish like naivete, basically, where I don't know if she fully understands how dangerous the abyss is and what it really means, right? I guess I really have to say I don't think she does at all, because she wants to go down immediately so quickly, when I think it's clear that she would die a horrible, horrific death immediately. So, I don't know. I don't know. That is an interesting. Hmm. But at the same time, like, a longing also seems like a more powerful word to me. It seems like something that is, like, more lodged deeply within you, that you really want to do. Well, just wanting to be a white whistle sounds like a less serious word. So, I guess it's hard for me to Hmm. I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to think. Like, because like if I say, oh, I want to be an astronaut one day or something, that kind of just sounds like something I just want to do, like not some like deep attached desire to me. But if I say I have a longing to be an astronaut, it almost feels like it's in the word itself, like long, right? Like it's this long emotion I've held that's like a part of me that I feel like you know, that I have to do. You know what I mean? It's like a sense of duty almost. I don't know. It's interesting. Hmm. I wonder in Japanese what the actual difference between these words is. If anyone knows, I would be curious, because I wonder if that would illuminate me more on like the meaning of the two actual words that Shiki says here and like what the difference there is. She's gonna give birth to a ton of legends, huh? And that's kind of a sad thing to say. That she's going to give birth to a ton of legends. Because to me, it's like a legend is something that's told after someone's gone. You know what I mean? Like becoming a hero of legend or something. To me, it's like you know, she's not saying like, oh, I'll be super popular, I'll be a white whistle, everyone will love me. No, she wants to form a bunch of legends, which is something that it seems like this society values very much. So does she, by obviously because she lives in this society, right? Um, but having such kind of a desire like that is, I feel like, it's kind of telling to the mental state in these children that has been produced by the societal pressures that they face. Hmm. Greg's excited. Kiwi wants to go down too. We talked about that. How that's kind of ominous, right? They are back. They're back from the cave raid. They found the whistle. Which, again, I mean, I talked about this during the ending. Where did they find it? Where did they find the whistle in the letter, right? Because that really changes my idea of, like, what I think about it and what I think about the letter. Like, where did they find the. I don't know. I don't know. They had to find it pretty high up in the abyss because otherwise they would die? So obviously they didn't find it at the bottom. So obviously Liza didn't write it and leave it somewhere after she had already succeeded her goal of getting to the bottom. So, hmm, something to think about. Enrico, of course, has quite the muted reaction to learning her mother's death, essentially, right? Obviously, her mother's death, the note saying, I'll be waiting for you at the bottom of the abyss, is definitely going to make Rico think her mother's not dead. I don't know if I buy it exactly that her mother isn't dead. Um, I guess we'll see. I mean, I'll keep an open mind. I just don't know how her whistle would come back up if she herself isn't dead. you know? Why would she leave her whistle somewhere? But at the same time, if they found her whistle and they didn't find her body, then I guess she must have left her whistle somewhere, right? But yeah, Riko has this muted reaction to her death, and I really think like we find her sitting here kind of contemplatively while this whole festival is going on. I don't know. It really makes you think like what thoughts are going through her head. Like does she feel? She probably feels confused by her own emotions in this moment. That her mother that she's holding her mother's whistle right now. That her mother has kind of just seemed like this far off figure that she's gained inspiration from this whole time. Um, like in the first episode when she said she really wants to go into the abyss so she can catch up to her mother. And here she is holding her whistle. I don't know. I can just imagine a million things going through her head. Let alone the fact that it's probably just like confusing for her own emotions in this case, just like how you know, how she's even supposed to feel, right? How I assume most people know that she's Liza's daughter, right? So there's probably this pressure to react in a certain way about it, but obviously she didn't actually have a real connection to her mother, right? Which is the sad thing, and that's the thing that really makes me question Liza's decisions, right? But it just, who knows, right? Who knows what actually happened? And I feel like that's why she doesn't feel like she deserves the whistle, right? That's why she doesn't know if she should take it or not, because it's like in the end, she has less of a connection to her mother than the leader does, right? At least that's probably how she feels. That's probably true, like societally. She's her daughter, of course, so like bloodline-wise, she has a connection, but I don't really know if that means much. Hmm. Can't even remember her face. So it's like when she gets this inspiration from her mother and what she's done and wanting to like catch up to her, she doesn't even have a face to imagine. It's just really just the vague idea of having a mother in the abyss to go chase after, right? And especially like her being in an orphanage too. Just think about how rough those thoughts must be. Like, of course she'd be so excited to get down there. I mean, she's in an orphanage right now, right? And her mother's still out there. Hmm. And yeah, someone she aspired to be just suddenly disappeared, right? It's not like she aspired to be like her. She aspired to be her. It's very interesting. Her mind. And yeah, I just can't imagine she went in for her last dive when she was 2 years old. It's like why? Why did she have to go? Right? I feel like there has to be a reason. It's gonna be so hard for me to accept that it's just like Liza just had this great longing and this great desire to go into the abyss the same way Rico does, right? But she would really sacrifice her relationship with her daughter for that? I just don't know. I don't know. I don't know. And yeah, we get the idea that, like the leader says here, that there's nothing special about her other than that she was a white whistle. Which feels kind of mean to say. But I feel like that's just kind of true for like a lot of people in general. It depends on like what you want to pretend being a white whistle is like representative of. Um, but for a lot of people, there's one thing in your life that really kind of defines you and who you are. Most people have something that they can say is the most important thing to them in their life, um, that like defines you, right? At least once you're an adult, right? When you're a child, you don't have like it's harder, like for Rico of course would say the abyss, right? But it's kind of the phase where you're figuring out what it is that's most important to you in your life is like growing up, right? Becoming an adult. Um, so if we pretend that being a white whistle is kind of just a stand-in for anything that makes someone's life have meaning, then I guess like I get what he's saying here, is like if without the desire that being a white whistle represents, then she would have nothing to her, right? It's kind of just like Rico, right? Like Rico's whole life is the abyss and her enthusiasm to it. That's kind of what defines her as a character. And that's her defining thing, right? Just like people in real life, there's something to you for, most, I would say 99% of people, that's the most important thing to your life, that your life has some meaning because of something, right? Whether it's, I mean, it can be literally anything super simple, right? It can be some hobby you enjoy. It can be your family. That's probably a very common one. It can be your children, right? Um, so I don't know. I guess, like I get the sentiment behind what he's saying here, right? It was the desire that she had and the longing that she had, the being a white whistle that made her a person, right? Just like anyone else. If you don't have that desire, then you aren't a fully realized person. You know what I mean? Hmm. We get all this backstory about Rico. It's interesting to me that we get all this lore about her that would be so easy to kind of write off as just like a lazy lore dump, but I don't know. It didn't really feel like that to me, right? Like it makes sense why he's telling her now because her mother is like dead now, seemingly. Like I could imagine that he was kind of waiting to tell her this for if Liza ever showed back up again. Like maybe. It's also kind of like it's a good time to tell her this now because of the line at the end about how it's like the responsibility that Liza has left with her and what is she going to do with it. So I understand why he tells her now. It doesn't seem like that contrived to me that like we happen to be learning this information at the same time as Rico. And this is the line that gives me hope that Liza isn't irredeemable in some way, is the whole, she had to go down, right? There is some force by the state, by the government, where people, even white whistles who are incredibly powerful, are forced by them to go down into the abyss. Which is, I don't know, it's interesting. It is interesting. They had to get the unheard bell, right? I don't know. Foreign cave raiders. So how do foreign cave raiders work if there's one abyss and there's one entrance to it? Do they fly over in a plane and sky drop into the abyss? Like where do they come from? You know what I mean? Like I guess they can just sneak into Earth and go down. Just that's weird. Like I guess that makes sense. The outside world clearly must not be very powerful, right? Or not very powerful. I mean, not very like developed compared to our world. You know what I mean? Because if the abyss existed in like a modern world with like a modern understanding of what like a nation state is, we would drop a nuke down the abyss. America would set up a military base on top of the abyss. No, we like it would just be crazy. Insane shit would happen. So the fact that the idea of foreign cave raiders existing, the fact that Orth was able to even form without like a superpower in the world coming to take over the abyss immediately, obviously kind of shows that the outside world must not have like the level of military and you know the level of like nation state uh centricity that like we have in our world right now. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. Like I guess it's possible that some kind of weird treaty could be formed, like with Antarctica in the real world. Um, but with the abyss and how like meaningful it is, I feel like whatever the world superpower in this world would be would uh I don't know would take it over very quickly. Obviously, I guess it was discovered 1900 years ago, so it's possible that Orth was kind of formed as its own independent thing around that time as the world around it developed. But I still feel like, oh god, I don't know. I don't know. Colonialism. Orth wouldn't exist for long. And yeah, no special powers for Rico. She isn't immune to the curse, obviously. And I don't know, it's interesting to me that she was allowed to do this, right? That she brought her daughter back up from the abyss and left the unheard bell there when she was forced to come down here in the first place, being pregnant, to get the unheard bell. Like I hope she didn't face some kind of punishment for that. I almost wonder if that could be related to why she went back down into the abyss. I don't know. I don't know. Hmm. Hmm. And like Leader says here all this stuff about how all the stuff that she gave up because of her desire for Rico, right? How meaningful Rico was to her. But of course, in the end, we know what happens, that she ends up going down to the abyss anyway. So it's really given me hope that there has to be some kind of reason why Liza did this. you know? Hmm. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It's just, well, I just have to see more to really make a decision. That line right there is very interesting to me, right? That she risked her life to protect Rico and all of that, but what ended up happening in the end, right? So I don't know. Hmm. And yeah, this line at the end, man, that is something heavy to drop on a 12-year-old. that she has the legacy of her mother to live up to. You know, I feel like Rico though actually does take. I think she gets a lot out of it. I think she does. It excites her, if anything, right? She's the perfect person, I think, to. I don't know. She doesn't let her let it get her down. That's for sure. And again, it's like this world would seem so dark and so scary without Rico. You know, her unwavering enthusiasm and her ability to act like this in the face of everything is like what makes it special, I guess, right? Is what makes it not just seem openly like a dystopian world. Hmm. Off we go. Rico, you gotta put on shoes. Like, did you really not put on shoes to come to the church? No, she didn't. She just showed up barefoot. Like that feels like kind of rude. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. We got a whole bunch of things that haven't been seen before. There's Reg slash someone who looks just like Reg. Maybe another Reg. I don't know. And there's this weird letter that says, "The bottom of the netherworld, I'll be waiting," which is terrifying, right? Because we don't know that that's addressed to Rico. It doesn't say Rico, I'll be waiting for you at the bottom of the abyss, right? Like we don't. There's nothing here that specifically addresses Rico. We don't know the context in which this was written at all. We don't know where this was found. We don't know if she even made it to the bottom of the abyss. I don't know. It's scary. It really does kind of scare me. Obviously, the idea of something waiting at the bottom of the abyss is gonna like ignite the firecracker inside of Riko's soul and make her immediately have to go into the abyss right away. Because of how crazy she already was about the abyss, and now she has this, like, this just doubles her desire to go into the abyss, right? And us too, of course, like us too as the viewer, obviously, our enthusiasm for it is so directly linked to the characters in the story too. This is the perfect, setting up that there's something at the bottom that we're waiting for. It's meaningful for the characters, it's meaningful for us because we want to see the bottom. It's perfect, right? The abyss being a stand-in for the concept of human desire in general seems, yeah, it's doing a good job at that. So, hmm. Well, that was a very good episode. I remembered much less than I thought I did, but of course, still, it's not a fully blind reaction, of course. So, I guess I hope people are going to end up watching these. I hope people aren't just going to immediately click off when they see that I've seen these first few episodes before. I would hope that you will still be interested, but I guess we'll see. I really got to start saying this more. If you enjoy my videos, please subscribe. Please, for the love of God. Last time I said that, I got like 5 subscribers right after I released the video. All I did was say that. So I gotta see that number increase. It makes me happy to see a pointless number go up. Because it's not like sub count even matters. No one uses their sub box. Does anyone use your sub box anymore? No one. I mean, I don't. I haven't clicked on my sub box in forever. My homepage pops up. YouTube knows what I want to watch, and I click on it. But subscribe to me anyway. Yeah, that's it. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think, and I will see you in the next one.